Tonight, we have a member of the federal government's team to meet with Twitter for the negotiation and discussion. The Minister of State for Labor, Mr. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, he joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your time tonight. And let's begin with the Twitter conversation before we go into your pet project, if I may call it, the Federal Works Program. Let's begin by asking you, you're a lawyer, and from what the ECOWAS court has said today, what kind of image do you think this action of federal government is? Because the court said that any interference or it's in violation of human rights of Nigerians. Does it speak well for the government, for those who have criticized it, that the government is very uneasy with voice of dissent?
Thank you, Sheung. I have not seen a copy of the said order from the ECOWAS court, so I don't know the scope of that order and the application of that order. But from what you read, it's just an interim order restraining or purportedly restraining the federal government from prosecuting those who are Twitter users. But that is not the trust of the federal government's problem with Twitter. The trust of the federal government's battle with Twitter, it has nothing to do with the prosecution of Nigerians using Twitter. It's a regulation of the activities of Twitter within Nigeria. So that order you are relying so much on to talk about the image, I don't know what you mean by image of Nigeria. That ECOWAS courts will determine the image of Nigeria, will determine how we run our affairs. I don't think, you addressed it from the right angle. I give you an example. Do you think that it is right for a company to be somewhere in America, or like they call it the Silicon Valley somewhere, and open its platforms within our territory for activities to take place there that determines the peace, unity of Nigeria, and then Nigeria will not act? I don't understand what people mean. They said Twitter has its own rules and that we have to follow its own rules. So you mean that Nigeria should also have its own rules within its territory? Somebody brings his rules to our territory to operate, to make money within our territory, and then we, a sovereign state, should not have our own rules for that person making rules to follow too within our territory. Maybe they are regulating them in China, in Canada, in UK, in America. These are the same people issuing statements against us. No. It's unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
Minister, the question
Nobody
I
will
asked
come and teach
is...
me constitutional law here about freedom of speech. I practice constitutional law and human rights to the highest level. Nobody will come and stand in front of me and teach me what it is.
Honorable Minister, it's interesting that some of us know you. My encounter with you for the first time was at a protest ground as an activist, as a civil rights lawyer. That's how I got to know you. And I'm speaking to you as a senior advocate of Nigeria and as a minister of the Federal Republic. And knowing also that your political party, APC, rode on some of these social media platforms to gain prominence, to seek the votes of Nigerians, and perhaps the argument of Nigerians, what I'm bringing to you, and I'm asking you a question about, based on the judgment of the ECOWAS court, that interference and the actions of the federal government might mean that it's an inhibition of the rights of its citizen. And that's the question I'm asking. And I'm asking that if that kind of ruling comes to play, just a moment, Minister. So if that kind of ruling comes to play, does it give a bad reputation for Nigeria or for its human rights record?
I have not seen anywhere where they say the ECOWAS court is the moral thermometer or barometer to decide whether Nigeria image is bad or not. An interim order, not a final order. Look, Shehu, I don't think we should take these things to a ridiculous extent. Let me answer your question from the two-pronged questions you answer. And I think we should not be blackmailed into a corner and behave as if we are acting against our own principles. First of all, as a political party, APC, can you tell us examples where we try to use social media platforms to set the country ablaze? We are not talking about stifling free speech. People have been using this as a blackmail weapon over and over and over that we rode to power on the back of social media. That is blackmail. Because you need to cite specific examples where we use social media to try to undermine the territorial integrity of Nigeria and the peace and unity of Nigeria. Now, we are saying that nobody is going to be stifled. So nobody should blackmail us. And nobody is saying that people should not use social media platforms. Nobody is saying that you should not call government officials to question. Nobody is saying that you should not even abuse us. I don't speak for my colleague, for myself. I like abuse. You can abuse me as you like. But is it right for you to go to social media and forever promote false stories that are untrue, stories that have the capability of setting one region of the country against the other? And then you posting it will not be called to question. The company that made this platform available for people to use will not be called to question. Is that what you are telling me is free speech? You are also saying that some of us marched. You saw me marching on the streets. Did we say that suspending Twitter should not allow people to march? So the people just take this thing out of context and try to blackmail us. I'm not going to be trapped into that. I am taking you out of that context and explaining it in a broader context to you. People should still march. People should still protest. I will still join them to protest for just causes. For just causes. But don't tell me that because we are suspending Twitter for promoting hatred within Nigeria, for allowing his platforms for somebody residing in London to tell people to go and burn INEC offices, to go and kill policemen, to go and kill innocent citizens in part of the country, and you call that free speech? No, it's unacceptable.
All right, Minister, we take a breather, but when we come back, our attention will be on the 774,000 jobs and some of the issues I have trailed it. The Minister of Labour has summoned some banks on the disbursement of these monies. We'll find out what about that after this break, everyone. Join us again. Welcome back, everyone. Let's get back to the conversation with the Honorable Minister for State for Labour, Mr. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I would love to dive into the 774,000 job scheme of the federal government. But just a brief one, if you can quickly just touch on this. If you say that suspension was okay because of those who argue that maybe suspension might not be the right thing for the federal government to do, could you tell us which part of the law under Nigerian Constitution provides for the suspension or prosecution of Nigerians using social media? And on the other hand, what will your team be discussing with Twitter when you meet them?
That the trust of this battle with Twitter has nothing to do with prosecution of Nigerians using Twitter. So play the tape back again. I am not concerned about that. The Attorney General, I'm not the Attorney General of the Federation, and I don't know whether his own statement was taken out of context, whether he was talking about individuals or institutions that have been ordered not to allow Twitter to operate in Nigeria, like MTN and all of that, network provider. So I don't know whether it was taken out of the context. So that is not the issue here. People took it to that ridiculous extent, perhaps, to ridicule the federal government that want to start catching people on the road using Twitter. That is ridicule. We are talking about regulating Twitter and its operations in Nigeria. That is one. Then the second one, you talked about what we'll be discussing with Twitter. We are yet to meet. I just spoke with Lai Mohammed this evening. I think we are going to have a preliminary meeting tomorrow or next to draw up our plan. But Twitter that wrote. So it's not we trying to seek the face of Twitter. Twitter wrote and sought audience with the federal government because they are facing problems all over the world. So they know that it is time for them to be regulated.